Hello, this is Rich Campy, CEO of Pro Advisor Coach, the Thinking Coach. All right, are we ready? We are on number 8. Number 8. So it's a 10-part series on Mindscan, thinking about thinking. And this last one will cover the last dimension. So remember, there's 3 primary dimensions, right? There's how many worlds of thinking? That's right, 2. You may ask, why all the questions? Why do you keep reviewing this stuff? Because I know repetition is the mother of skill. And the more you can start thinking in terms of relator, doer, thinker, the more powerful you can become within the communication within yourself and with others as you coach yourself and you coach others. So remember, 3 primary dimensions happening with 2 worlds. And what are we measuring? We are measuring clarity and we're measuring bias, and then the combination of how all these work together. So let's cover the last dimension. This last dimension is this bottom guy right here, and we call that last dimension the self-direction dimension. The self-direction. So that's our guy right here, and self-direction is the internal world, right? So the internal world within the thinker area. And self-direction is really around the larger that circle is. Remember the clarity circle, the larger the clarity, the more clear we are about our goals, our vision, where we're headed into the future. And this can be around several areas. It could be around our careers, it could be around our family, it could be around our finances, our health, right? How much clarity do we have of where we are going? The smaller we are in that circle, the more narrow we are around that thinking. So we may say, okay, it's going to be, just blank. And typically it's going to be a lot fuzzier, especially in this dimension. So we say, I want to make a huge impact on the world and just change lives and make a difference. All right, that's what we call super fluff. It's not really clear. Like, we're not sensory specific to say, I want to work with 100 people within the financial services industry that they double their business within 1 year or less, right? So that's very specific. Or around your own goals. How many new ideal clients do you want? How many alliance partnerships over what period of time? SMART outcomes, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. Those are sensory specific pieces that when you have a larger clarity, you're clear about it, okay? So that's the clarity. How clear and how sensory specific are you? How smart are you around your goals and where you are headed personally, okay? The up and down on the scale, which is the bias, right? So the up and the down, which is this part here. So we're looking at all the way to the top. Hold on a second. All the way to the top in this particular area, which is this. Helps if my pen works. All the way to the top is going to be the bias, which is all the way up here, right? High bias. That's going to mean you're really committed and really almost dogmatic. Really, the higher you are, the more dogmatic you are. Dogmatic is a place of like, my way or the highway, this will happen. And there can be a lot of value in being committed to where you want to go, especially if you're getting there, right? If you're showing improvements over time, that's really valuable. The lower you are in this particular dimension, right? So the farther we are here to the bottom in this area, the more open you are to coaching and ideas and your direction and where you're headed. The danger in that is it's kind of like a leaf in the wind. You're open to this idea and that idea and this idea, which is good because you're open to new ideas. The bad part is that you're so open that you're not getting committed around something, getting congruent around your inner and your outer being aligned that I'm going to do it. It's sort of like, yeah, I kind of want to do it. Maybe I'll do it. Well, today I'll do it. Tomorrow I won't do it, right? So the higher you up, the more committed you are, but also could be very dogmatic. The lower you are, the more open you are, the more receptive. But then it also, again, that kind of has its own, quirkinism about it, right? Because you just can kind of move around from place to place without really committing to what it is you want to do. All right, so that's the last of the dimensions. We covered all 6 or all 3 within both worlds, right? So we had, remember the first one in the external world was the relator to the external world was empathy. And then we had the relator to the external world, which was practical thinking. Then we had the relator to the external world, which we call, what, do you remember? Structured thinking. Then we went internally. And the internal ones, we had internal to the relator areas called what? Self-empathy. And then the internal world, right? Remember the internal world to the doer area is what we called, remember that one? The role awareness, which indicated around our frustration levels. And the last dimension is the internal world to the self-direction, which we just covered now. So you've got 3 dimensions within both worlds. We covered all 6 of those in more detail. We covered a little bit of history, Dr. Hartman. In the next 2 sessions, which I think you'll really enjoy, we're going to cover the team profile, which how do you look at an entire organization together? But we're also going to look at some of the intervention strategies. Like, what are some of the things now that you have this, what can you do about it? Like, how do you actually work out those specific muscles within yourself and with others? This is Coach Rich Campy, the Thinking Coach, saying thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing you next time for session number 9 of Mindscan, Thinking About Thinking, as we start to cover intervention and team Mindscan reports.